What's up, RPG fans? Welcome to episode 35 of the SwitchRPG podcast. As always, I'm one of your hosts, Philip, and I'm joined once again after about 3 months by the voice of the people himself, Gia.
Hey. It's the voice from the Northeast. That's right. It's me. What's up?
All right. Well, welcome back to the show. You feeling better?
I am feeling a ton better. I'm going to see if I can remember how to do this, talking stuff. I think I'll be all right.
So he didn't have the plague proper like we thought he did.
No. And I heard you guys talking so much smack about me. Unbelievable. Number one, it was not a man flu or anything like that. I had a very thing it did a lot of damage to me psychologically and physically. I had the shingles, which was terrible. Thank you. So whatever. Yeah. Exactly. So,
and if you're watching the video, you can see that we're joined once again by, we'll say, the voice of Texas, the voice of the Is that the Midwest or is that the South?
Oh, that's 100% the South.
There's no. Yeah. We're 2/3 South in here.
Southwest. Right. That's what's classified. Southwest.
Welcome back, Corey, from RPG reruns. Reruns. Yeah. RPG reruns. Yeah.
One of those.
I wanted to say rerun RPG.
Howdy, y'all. Thanks for having me.
Oh, dear.
We're not doing that.
Too much South in one place. Ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first time listening, this is the official podcast from the website SwitchRPG.com, and it brings you all the exciting news, upcoming game releases, and the latest in the world of RPGs on the Nintendo Switch platform, as well as some of the others from time to time. This week, we have the most news that we have ever had in a single episode of the SwitchRPG podcast. 35 episodes.
I went absolutely nuts on the links. I'm sorry.
I thought it was a prank.
No, it's not a prank.
This is what happens.
It's been a while.
When Gio misses an episode and then we are off for the holiday and we come back with an uncountable, innumerable amount of news. And that's all we really are going to preview is just news. It's just news.
Pretty much.
So strap in. There's some rumors in there too. There's some rumors.
We don't do rumors.
Gio couldn't have a news week without
we don't do rumors.
Gio actually did include what I would consider probably the biggest rumor we've ever had on the show. Probably the biggest rumor we've ever had on the show.
What? I did
the least substantiated rumor we've ever covered.
Now you're forgetting my title here. I'm a video game journalist with the most integrity on the show. That's what I think.
All right. Let's dive in. Let's dive right into the news because everybody strap in. Let's head back over to a little game that released this summer that we haven't talked about in a while. This little game overtook the podcast for a while, and then Gio got tired of it, so then we didn't.
What game?
This is a little game released by Square Enix called Octopath Traveler.
Never heard of it.
Never
heard of it.
It was quite the flash in the pan. I mean, and I don't mean that in a bad way.
Well, it sounds like it.
It was it was a light that burned very bright.
Hot take.
And maybe it wasn't what everybody wanted it to be. I still enjoyed it. I know Corey liked it. Gio forgot about it.
Rather quickly.
And so let's head over to Go Nintendo, where they have a very interesting article. Listen, one of my favorite things in life are interviews translated from Japanese. It's so like endearing and just like wonderful, because like a lot of times I feel like we're missing most of the meaning and what they're actually saying, and I feel like this is one of those articles, but there's some things to glean out of here. Anyway, like I said, from Go Nintendo, there is an interview covered from some of the top devs from Octopath Traveler, and this is from Famitsu, and they're teasing what they are planning generally, loosely, for 2019. And I'm going to read some from some of these. So from Asano himself, his keyword for 2019 is "to the new world." Whatever that means.
Yeah, whatever that is.
Whatever that means. Okay, and also I would like to say that this week's word of the week. We're 35 episodes in. This is the first time we have a word of the week. The word of the week this week is challenge. Stay tuned.
Okay.
Challenge. Okay.
Okay.
Challenge. All right. So
I'm not sure where
Tomoya
you're going
Asano.
with that, but
Tomoya Asano. In 2019, we'll have a challenge that is different from what we've had up till now with Octopath Traveler and the Bravely series. I'll do my best. Business Division 11 is moving forward with the development of several games. Each one will surely please you guys. It will still be a little while until we can share information, but please look forward to it. Okay, so teasing, they're working on games. That's good. All right, so Masashi Takahashi, his keyword for 2019 is retrospect and preparation. He said that we received so much support from various people. I'm going to paraphrase a little bit. He says he's going to keep working on console games in 2019 too. And he said first we'll properly reflect on ourselves, and then he'll do his utmost best to make games you can look forward to from the Octopath series, the Bravely series, a new series, and more. Okay, so now we're kind of unwrapping that Christmas gift a little bit, if you will. That's exciting, especially because, I mean, coming out of Octopath, we kind of assumed there'd be something else. It sold way too well not to get something else. Gio and I covered that tease about the Bravely series a while back, so we kind of saw that coming too. But then what is this new series? What is this new series? Somebody... Corey, what do you think? What could be new here?
It's getting the wheels turning. I think it's maybe so. It says that they're going to not do Octopath or Bravely series for 2019. So Brave New World, maybe throwing in a little sci-fi aspects into it, maybe a non-traditional style RPG that they're trying to go out of their comfort zone and challenge themselves with.
That would totally be out of the left field there.
Yeah.
You know, everything to this point has been kind of high fantasy, right? So
yeah,
I mean, yeah, okay, from this team, yeah. I mean, Square Enix as a whole has dabbled.
No, they've done so many different things, right? Square Enix as a whole, but from this team, you know, the Bravely series, you know, the Octopath series, and they say more, and new series and more. So what else could that more be? Could that be a port of something? Could it be the Bravely series port, or you know, something? I don't know.
I think we could definitely, if we lump it inside what he said with the Bravely series, I think we could definitely see a port as well as a new game. You know, port the other two in anticipation, kind of like with Bayonetta, right? So port the other two in anticipation for a third release. I think that is likely. This new series, I am always a fan of new IP, so I am hoping it's new IP, because Gio, I know you're like this about movies, but like there's only so far that I can take, like rehashing and regurgitating the same thing. So like bring in some new life, some new series,
show some
games.
Creativity in what you do, you know. It's just rehashing all that same stuff. Just it's boring and stale. It's just not good for anyone. So
Exactly. So speaking of looking forward to 2019, I was going to try to cover all the Switch news first, but since we're talking about looking forward, it's now 2019. I don't even know. Have I been putting the date right on things? I don't even know anymore.
No.
But anyway,
we have a lot of ugly 2018s looking like 2019s. That's what we really have.
Scribbles. But anyway, on the subject of looking forward, let's head over to Siliconera, where Atlas, a developer that we hope soon will be on the Switch. We know that Shin Megami Tensei 5 is going to be on the Switch. We've got all those rumors going around that Persona 5 is going to be on Switch soon. So, I mean, it's not far-fetched to say that, you know, Atlas here is a Switch developer as well. But anyway, Siliconera has got an article here also with interviews with very, very high-standing developers within that company, talking about their plans for 2019. And we got some interesting stuff here as well. So this is Atlas key developers from including Studio Zero's creative producer and game director Katsura Hashino, Shin Megami Tensei series producer Kazuyuki Yamai, and Persona team producer Kaza Hisawada shared some quotes on their current projects in Famitsu. So Famitsu, man, just putting out stuff. Anyway,
Can I just say, I'm
yes.
sorry to interrupt. You bang those names out of the park. Well,
Do I?
You're Japanese.
I was very intimidated. I'm glad I didn't have to do roll call on these articles.
I mean, I know that I butchered them, but like I try to just at least get through it without.
It's about the confidence. You deliver it like you know exactly what you're talking about.
Right. You do it well, but I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Continue.
Katsura Hashino, his keyword for 2019 is the pandemonium reaches its climax on Valentine's Day.
What does that mean?
Everybody look forward to Valentine's Day, I guess. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. So anyway, he says, with the goal of an official announcement, I'm currently working hard with the new studio on a brand new RPG that isn't Megaten or Persona. For those who don't know, that means it's not Shin Megami Tensei or it's not the Persona series. In any case, I believe it'll be a work that we've yet to see. Here's where, once again, like I was talking. Oh, do we have some breaking news from Corey over there?
I'm just saying, Valentine's Day falls on a Thursday this year. Just saying.
Release day?
Mm-hmm.
It's out today, maybe? All right. Well, hey, if it happens, of course, you heard it here first.
But that keyword pandemonium, that has to relate to something. Right.
Yeah.
Nobody uses that word.
Pandemonium reaches its climax. That is very specific wording.
Now,
when I hear translation from Japanese.
Yeah, I mean, when I hear climax, I also think Bayonetta. So I mean, I don't know.
Oh, is that Alice?
Bayonetta?
Yeah, that's not Alice, is it?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Anyway. Okay. So here's another line where the translation gets a little funky, but it's interesting nonetheless. He says, you might think about what makes a traditional fantasy game from that point on. I'm wondering if he's meaning like we might think differently about what makes a traditional, like they're changing what it means to be like a traditional fantasy.
I don't like it.
I don't know.
I don't like it at all. I
don't know. He says our confidence grows each day together as a team moving forward with open minds. We'll move forward without getting lost and have fun as we work to advance forward. Please look forward to it.
I'm on his Wikipedia right now. It does say that he's producing Catherine Full Body, so a re-release of the 2011 title, which could make sense for why it's around Valentine's Day as well.
Yeah. Okay.
True. It says it's a brand new RPG though. Mm-hmm. What he's talking about here says it's brand new. Who knows?
It's translation. Who knows?
All right. So sort of carrying on the Valentine's theme here. I don't know if this was planned or not, but Kazuyuki Yamai, his keyword for 2019 is Doki Doki, which for those who don't know, that is the whatever it's called. What is it? It's a certain word that means like it's the sound effect. Can't remember what the word is, but anyway, that's like the sound that your heart makes. Okay. In Japanese, Doki Doki. There's a certain word for it, and I'm slipping. I can't think of what it is. Anyway, he says he believes 2019 will be a year of various questions from everyone. He's both nervous and excited. I pray that all our efforts pay off.
Wow. What
the heck is going on over there?
I don't know. They're into some deep stuff there. They're doing highly experimental things over there. And
they are.
Kind of like it. I don't know.
Look, I mean, here's the thing for me, and we'll talk about this in a bit when we're talking about what we're playing. I've never played an Atlas game, so like anything that comes out of Atlas is just bonus for me. It's just icing on the cake. They're not my like home team, so like I'm totally fine with them experimenting and doing wacky stuff. And if I like it, great. If I don't, that's fine too.
And again, I've got other stuff. Have something different in the mix. Yeah, I guess you talked me into it. It is something good. Can I just also say for people who are just listening and not watching the video, that was one gigantic bottle of water. Holy cow! So Corey just grabbed like a trash barrel full of water and just
He couldn't even hold in his hands. He had to like.
It's made in
grab his
Texas.
arms.
Oh, so this water is made in
Everything's
Texas.
bigger. Everything's bigger.
Comes with a handle.
Jiminy Christmas. That was
Does that
like
have a is that a Houston Astros logo on it?
No, it's just a Lone Star State, so it's just a star.
Okay, cool.
wow.
All right.
Anyway,
Oh, here's our plug for Azarka.
Zark, whatever that is.
That's the first sponsor.
It's a natural spring in Texas.
Okay, I just have
We're
like
gonna
this.
try to get our sponsorships with them.
I have this
Yeah.
itty bitty bottle of water, and here he comes with his pool water. It's just like-
Corey would have to use an entire.
I saw how many articles we had today, so I thought better come out with a big.
He would have had to use an entire permanent marker to get rid of that logo, to cross out the logo.
Well, okay. Well, I'm sorry. What were we talking about?
Back to your regularly scheduled program. Back
Atlas.
to what Mr. Yamai is saying. He says we're working diligently on SMT5. He apologizes for not being able to give any news on it yet, but they are making it in Unreal Engine 4.
That's good.
Which I believe is the engine back in the day we said was that people were having so much trouble with the Switch on. Was that
Yeah.
that the one? Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like that's the reason it's taking long. So anyway, Mr. Wada, his keyword for 2019 is to lift off. He says once again we are getting like ultra like can we check on these people, like make sure that they're okay. Because we're talking about video games here, but I mean, it's like literally people have like their children in like
Yeah, they
ransom
want-
or something here.
Oh my god, they're very serious about their non-disclosure agreements.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, he's like, okay, so he says, to me personally, 2019 is going to be a crucially important year. Up to now, we've advanced on various projects. We put some work into general improvements and preparations, and it is finally time to come to fruition. The next 5 years could see a change depending on how things go in 2019. Please go out and buy their games. I'm scared for these people. He says it will be a year of challenge. There's your keyword for the week. All right, so exciting things coming out of Atlas too, and I think to what Gio was talking about a minute ago, they are experimenting, and I do have to commend them for that, because we get on developers all the time for doing the same things. Heck, I just said a minute ago, I'm glad to see new IP because I don't like seeing the same recycled stuff. So even if it flops, even if they come out with this new definition of traditional fantasy and it doesn't catch on, at least they tried. So
Octopath.
at least they tried.
Oh
Anyway.
boy.
Anyway,
Well, I mean, yeah, at least they're trying for sure. That's always a good thing. We don't want the same old stuff. It just gets boring and repetitive, you know. But yeah, Octopath tried it. If it just had a more cohesive story, that thing would be so much better. But it doesn't. So we move on. We just move on. We bought the collector's edition, and we move on. Okay.
real quick, Corey, what's your sort of history with Atlas? Are you invested
Very.
in them much?
I have played Persona 5, so that's pretty much the extent of it, which I really, really enjoyed. So really excited to see what they.
If it comes to Switch, it's an immediate buy for me. I wanted to get it on PS4, it just never worked out. Then I didn't have a PS4 to play it on now. So like, if it comes to Switch, it's most definitely 100%.
A game that I really hope that they would be afterwards probably, but port over would be Persona 4 Golden.
Oh,
That's one that I really, really am hoping that eventually comes to Switch.
And it's such low-hanging fruit in my eyes.
People want it.
An instant money. It is the equivalence of putting microtransactions in a game. Like it's instant money. It's a cash grab, but it's in all of the good ways.
Well, Square Enix is doing it with Final Fantasy. You know, they're putting out most of them. So yeah, it's the same deal.
Yeah. All right. So moving over to a game that is coming out so very soon. I realized today that we're less than 2 weeks away from Tales of Vesperia on the Nintendo Switch. That I freaked out a little bit. I am so stinking excited about this game. And we got some new trailers and new information about the game. We got a couple of articles here. One's from Siliconera, so go check the trailer out that I covered. It has story in there. It's in Japanese, but it does show a lot of cutscene. It's about 7 minutes long.
Yeah.
And I consumed all of it like it was a Snicker bar. I don't know. It was a lot of story, but then there was actually some, not a whole lot, but some flashes of gameplay in there. If you're familiar with the Tales series, it's very Tales. If you played Tales of Vesperia, I don't know what it used to look like. I don't even know what platform. This was Xbox 3.
Initially, it was Xbox
360,
360, but then they also released it for the PlayStation 3.
Okay.
So it ended up being on both consoles.
Yeah.
And Gio, I think we talked about this when they released some screens a while back, but this game looks dang good for an Xbox 360 PS3 era game.
Yeah, and it has that classic look that just doesn't age. You know, it's just the ageless game. Like we kind of talk about. You know, there are some games that just don't age that great, and this is one that ages really well, really well. And it's definitely one that I'm getting for certain.
Yeah, it's a day one purchase for me. Like you said, it came out on the 360, and I've always been on the PlayStation. And by the time it came out PS3, I just kind of wasn't really playing too many RPGs at the moment. So this will be my first Tales game, so I'm really excited about it because I've been looking into it and doing the research, and it looks like it's right up my alley. So I'm really excited. I'm trying to get 2 games knocked out before that comes out, so I can roll some credits.
2 games? We'll talk about it later.
Yeah.
I only got 1.
Essentially, what Corey is saying is that he's going to be able to rerun this RPG.
Yes.
Okay.
I get it.
Yeah, you got it. All right. My Nintendo news, staying with Tales of Vesperia. If you're a Tales fan, please go read this article because this is some exciting stuff right here. We got another interview, this one with the producer, Yoshido Higuchi. And he's talking about the Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. He says that it is obviously it's the first Tales game to hit the Switch, but he says that it will not be the last, and that is what we want to hear. He stated that one of the big goals of this game is to help the series go fully multi-platform. The Steam versions of the Tales games in particular sell very well, and while this time the concept was to bring a good game to a current platform as it was, Tomizawa wants the team to challenge itself for future Tales games. While the team will keep aspects of the Tales series that should never change, he wants to reconsider how much of the series should be changed. That's a loaded statement.
Yeah.
I'm not heavily invested in Tales simply because I haven't played them and don't have a long history with them. So, of course, shaking things up isn't necessarily going to affect me too much. I'm just looking for more of the series to come over, like we were talking about with Final Fantasy, like we were talking about possibly with Atlas and like Persona. Man, bring over those old titles because I feel like Switch is a really good spot for them.
And I think they're doing it the right way by, porting something over, kind of learning and taking your lumps in development for Switch games. So whatever you're learning now will obviously help you, when you're developing future games. And one thing I really want is I want a concurrent release. I don't want, like we're dealing with Dragon Quest 11, we get it in Japan, and then a year later or more even we get it here in the West. I want everything kind of released at the same time. And maybe they'll be the first ones to do that, but it hasn't been the case. You go back to Dark Souls did it, we had to wait. What other games were like that where the releases were just we were kind of waylaid,
East was well after a lot of the other.
Yeah, that's good.
Well after,
but
you're totally right with Dragon Quest.
Yeah, there've been a number of games that have or developers that have done that, and I just I want some respect, yo. You know what I mean? I want some respect. Please give me that.
I think that there is something to be said for it. This is the one. Vesperia is hitting the same time as all the others, so I think that is promising. I think also that you're so right with their strategy here. To me, is really, really good. And I feel like this isn't necessarily something that other developers have done, but the keyword here is that they wanted to bring over a good game onto a successful console.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't necessarily reach back to like their first game that is kind of polarizing, or they didn't reach to maybe a smaller title because it would have been easier. No,
Right.
they went for a game that in their eyes was good, and they're bringing that over because I think that's how you test the waters. Bring over your best stuff. Kind of looking at you, Final Fantasy. Now, don't get me wrong, we eventually got the things that we were looking for, but like when your first Final Fantasy was the Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition, like
Ugh.
that's the first
Gross
glimpse of Final Fantasy that we see on the Switch. You know, that's a little odd. So I like that they're bringing over what they consider it was a solid game, and
Mhm.
so now they're going to test that for multi-platform in the future. So good for them. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a slight reprieve and go into the rumor land.
I don't like it.
Land of rumors.
I don't do rumors, but I'll entertain your thoughts.
I love making. I don't know if you got this. I love making up rumors,
I know you do.
and when they're right,
You
you heard
look-
it here first.
Yeah, right. You heard it here first, but when they're wrong, I never
We
said
never
anything.
even covered
Never
it.
said anything.
All right. Okay. You linked a different article than I was reading earlier, so it doesn't have what was the line that turned me off, which was like so and so heard it from so and so, which found it on so and so. That was like so and so. So anyway, all right. But this is coming from
Oh,
our.
I think I know what you're doing because there was one article I saw it initially, and then I always do this. I go to their source. I
Yeah,
go to their
yeah,
source
yeah.
and then their source, and then like it just kept going. I'm like, what is happening
Yeah,
here? It just kept
yeah.
going. But
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah. So this is coming from our recent friends over at WCCF Tech. This is like the third or fourth episode for them. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, once again, just want to remind everyone this is probably the least substantiated rumor that we've ever covered. So literally take this with a grain of salt. That's what all these things are telling us to do anyway,
Mhm.
but we love it nonetheless. It is possible, however slim, but it is possible that EA is working on adding Nintendo Switch support for the Frostbite engine. There it is. All right. This is coming from a YouTuber named Dr. 81 who made a discovery on LinkedIn. Old LinkedIn.
All LinkedIn, man. They just keep they just keep outing people, and they're trying to be all secrety, and you just can't. What was the other one?
They're almost as bad as the Canadian Walmart.
No, nothing is as bad as
No.
Walmart.
So anyway, on this LinkedIn page, it has been. I'm just going to read this. I'm just going to read this word just so that I get it right. LinkedIn. Okay, so according to an undisclosed EA software engineer LinkedIn page, it's been revealed that the company has been working on bringing existing software development kits to the Nintendo Switch. Frostbite is not mentioned, but the owner of the page did work on software development kits for Battlefield 5 and Anthem, both games powered by the EA developed engine. So there you go. It was found on an undisclosed engineer's LinkedIn page talking about SDKs, but not mentioning Frostbite, but talking about the games that run on Frostbite. So there you go. However, rumor as it may be, does this excite you guys? And what do you think that this could bring to the Switch, if anything?
The first thing that came to my mind was that it could jumpstart EA's most popular RPG, that being Madden.
Yeah,
That was the first thing that came to my mind.
Yes,
And
that's the first thing that came to my mind as well. I think, I think just the obvious Battlefield. Madden is already there. Corey, you may not have known.
Not running on Frostbite. We
Yeah.
get
what is it running? That garbage engine that it's running on, whatever that is, it's terrible.
it and FIFA both have, and the one that I was looking side by sides of the FIFA engine, the custom engine for FIFA versus the Frostbite engine.
It's
It
bad.
just got like it's got light light coming from somewhere that's not even existing in the Frostbite.
It's bad. It's like PlayStation 2 bad.
It's like somebody shining a flashlight on like a clay model.
Gumby's out there catching passes.
But you got Battlefield, obviously. I don't foresee Anthem coming to the Switch. I mean, from what I've seen, that's high end stuff. But older Battlefields, maybe not 5, but maybe 1, maybe. I mean, we see Doom and Warframe running on the Switch pretty well. Now, could you potentially bring in Mass Effect? That I would absolutely love. I mean, Mass Effect I don't think was run on the Frostbite engine, but considering bringing old technologies and engines and all that stuff back, that's one title I think of is that.
So what I'm thinking actually, and you heard this here first, folks, is that it is actually they're making this happen so that EA's premier franchise, RPG franchise, can go console exclusive on Nintendo Switch. Dragon Age 4 is console exclusive on Nintendo Switch.
I thought we were going to go a whole entire episode without hearing about it, but apparently not. That would be nice. Yeah, sure. Bring it.
That would be terrible. That would be terrible. That'd be so bad.
But yeah, I mean, if they're gonna bring some stuff and kind of just learn how to develop, what's their Game Pass service there that they have?
The Origin
is it?
Yes.
Is it Origin? No, the EA Pass, whatever that is.
Oh, I don't know. I know the Origin.
Okay, well, what I was thinking is I thought EA had something where if you subscribe,
well, this is where it's like the $15 a month gets you like free.
Yeah,
free.
I don't
free
know.
Games
It wasn't
stuff.
Origin. I'll have to look it up.
Okay.
And real quick on Mass Effect, Andromeda was on Frostbite.
Okay, well, I mean that was the worst of the series. But,
Yeah, so there you
go. Well, they had a
they had a. I have my problems with Frostbite. I really do.
The problem with that game was not Frostbite. The problem was the developers and I don't know. They were just. I can't even think of the words.
1, 2, 3 Definitive Edition on the Switch would be awesome.
Yeah. Yes.
That'd be.
Whew.
I would accept that.
Look. I have no connection to Mass Effect. I haven't played 1, 2, and 3. But I gotta say, I tried going back and playing 1 about 2 months ago. You would have to touch that thing up a little bit. You'd have to put some paint on it before you put that back out.
I think
that was pretty rough.
You would probably want to jump into Mass Effect 2, I think personally, and then just kind of work around that because I think Mass Effect 2 is probably the better of the 3. But yeah, you're right about Mass Effect 1. It does have its issues. We talked about dated games. It definitely looks like a dated game.
And I can handle graphics more than, to me, the gameplay. The mechanics were so old and slow and clunky. That's what I was like, ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. But yeah, I think you're right. I think 2 would carry over.
Yeah. What I was thinking of for EA is called EA Access. Where you get like access to a bunch of EA games, early trials and discounts off of games. So that could be a potential means of why they're doing this as well, because that's not available at all on the Switch. So that's what I was trying to think of.
Are there non-EA games that run on Frostbite? Do they outsource this to third parties at all?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, no.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's
I wasn't sure.
Pretty specific to EA. I mean, at first it was just Battlefield, and now it's kind of gone over to Anthem. It's gone obviously. Well, you just told me so. Mass Effect Andromeda.
I mean, Inquisition was also in it.
Yeah. So we'll see.
All right.
Too many
Okay, so
rumors.
back, yeah,
Too many
yeah.
rumors.
So back over to some less. It's not rumors anymore, is what I'm trying to say. Over to rpgsites.net. We've got some East 9 tidbits here. From a developer that I'm liking one more, and got things to say about that here in a few minutes too about Neon Falcom. But let me just read a little bit here. It says not longer after Neon Falcom revealed East 9, Monstrum Nox in their shareholder meeting. Famitsu magazine has its first article dedicated to this newest title. And you can see the spread there on RPG Site's website. Go check it out. It's a good spread. It's got some screenshots. Kondo-san considered East 9 as a challenge title. You guys really didn't know where I was going with the challenge keyword in the beginning. Where the team tries to depict the story with a different opening from past series. The subtitle Monstrum Nox, which means Night of the Mysterious People, directly forms the concept of East 9. Both words are important keywords that also connect deeply with the world setting and gameplay system. All right, and then it goes into detail on like the setting, which is apparently like this prison of sorts, and it's supposed to be sort of unique for the series. There are some characters coming back. It's taking place, I think, between 7 or right after 7. I don't know how the timeline of East works, but it's taking place after 7. If that means anything to you, great. Once again, this seems like another developer looking forward. Speaking of challenge, in sort of in the way that they are trying something new with their series, it seems like they're trying to go a different direction with this once again. So I don't know. Very, very interesting things.
For me, it already looks different than Ys 8. Without a doubt, it looks darker. It looks very, very different. I mean, obviously, I'm only looking at a screenshot of gameplay and kind of like environmental pictures, but everything just seems darker and grittier, different. It looks like they're also adding different gameplay mechanics where they have like superpowers and whatnot, different party actions. So they have. This is going to be very different than what Ys 8 was. And maybe they have different influences. I think they're definitely taking on different influences, but
yeah,
it looks different. It looks interesting to me.
Now, the bottom of the article has, for the purposes of this podcast, sort of it ends on a downer a little bit because, and it says that it was planned to be released on PS4 in 2019. There is no mention of Switch in there at all. No. I don't guess that is surprising. I guess I was hopeful since East 8 was out on Switch and in my mind scored really well, sold pretty well.
Yeah.
I was hoping that was, sort of the standard moving forward. But then again, an English localization also hasn't even been announced yet. So maybe this is, another instance of we're not quite where I thought we were, where Japanese titles are automatically coming to the West and automatically coming to the systems that we were hoping that they were going to come to. So,
yeah, maybe it's just a game that they don't feel like the Switch can handle. So, maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
Nah. Come on. If Frostbite can work on the Switch, so can whatever this is.
Whatever that is.
All right. Staying at rpgsite.net, let's head back over to our friends at Atlas.
Never heard of them.
We've got some more Persona 5 news. This is a good one for Corey, who enjoyed Persona 5 apparently. This is titled. They released a video teaser trailer titled P5R Notice, and it teases new projects with more information to come in March 2019. It opens with a PS4 logo, and you can check out the link to the teaser website. Go watch the teaser trailer on RPG Site. And according to RPG site, it says the easiest guess to make is that P5R will be a sort of enhanced new version of Persona 5. They say that Atlas has done this in the past where they've released different versions of the game. Corey, you mentioned PS4 not PS4, Persona 4 Golden earlier. So, who knows? I know, obviously, since Joker is in Smash, we are sort of all collectively assuming that this Persona 5 redo or, enhancement, whatever, is coming to Switch too.
Mhm.
But there isn't necessarily any mention of that in this article. So,
Yeah, that Joker, and I didn't get to I don't think I got to discuss that with either of you. That Joker trailer in Smash for the Game Awards kind of broke the internet a little bit. Kind of opened the floodgates actually for Persona 5 coming to the Switch. And now that we have all these different website domain names and a whole bunch of all this stuff, it's just now it's all coming out, and I really feel it in my head, my bones. It's gonna happen. I want it to happen.
I think it's logical. Now, I don't know if it may be the same version. They may try it out with the original Persona 5. I don't know if the R would be coming to Switch. Definitely, I don't think it will come out at the same time. But I definitely think that if they were, that the Switch would be, it would be, they're obviously trying to work on a partnership, I feel like, because it would be a home run if it were able to come to the platform. So we'll see.
Now, when Persona 4 came out, I'm not really too familiar with Persona. Like, was that like a game of the year type of thing? Or is it a higher definition? Like, isn't it weird for like a game to come out in the same console generation without really any?
okay.
I mean, what's been improved? What's been changed?
Are you talking about Persona 4?
Persona, I feel like does this all the time.
They do. Yeah.
Corey, correct me if I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. With Persona 4 and Persona 4 Golden, the situation was that Persona 4 was on the PS2 or 3 in Japan and wasn't in the US.
It was kind of
across
how everything's delayed. They were definitely delayed on that.
And so it kind of came it was so far after it had been released in Japan that they ported it over on the Vita. Correct?
Wow.
Persona 4 Golden was on the Vita?
And it came on PS4 too, yeah.
Okay. Or PS3.
Yeah, excuse me, yeah, the Vita was PS4 Golden.
Yes, okay. There you go. Oh, we keep saying PS4 Golden. Yeah. That's the problem. Persona 4, P4 Golden. That's where you got me wrong. Yeah. Persona 4 Golden came over on the Vita, which is why that's one of the major reasons that I'm saying I feel like Switch is a home run for it, because it already worked in handheld. Yeah. Like I follow so many podcasters, YouTubers who that was their game. They played 500 hours.
Because
handheld.
You can. I mean, it lends itself to that, where you can bring the dang thing anywhere. I have like almost 400 hours in Pokemon X and Y or X. I mean, if I was playing that on a console, that's like, it's not impossible. I mean, I do have hundreds of hours in console games, but man, when you can take that thing to the toilet, to work, I mean, not work. To wherever, baptisms, birthday parties you don't really want to go to, all that stuff. I mean, the hours build up. Just get it done. Just stop being so secretive about it. Just tell me that it's coming out and I can relax.
And they do off the wall stuff with their series too. Like right now on the PlayStation, they just released a dancing version of it. Has all the Persona 5 characters and it's like a dance revolution. So they always do.
And they're fairly I mean, it's not a game I would like or enjoy. But they do fairly well.
Yes.
Obviously they wouldn't do it, right? But those dancing games, for some reason, people love them. People do like them.
Yeah, speaking of games that people like that Philip hasn't played, let's move over to the Pokemons, the
You have
Pokemon
no.
series.
Oh boy, hang on. Do I have to put on the Pokemon hat?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
on?
you gotta put on the
Okay,
Pokemon hat.
one second.
This is coming from comicbook.com, and as we have said in the past, I'm about to say a lot of words that I do not understand what they mean. So, according to Megan Peters over at comicbook.com, the Pokemon has prompted all sorts of fan wars over the decades, and few topics are as testy as starters, which I can only assume means you're starting Pokemon or you're starting game. I
No,
don't know.
when they refer to starters, typically you have to choose a starter. So you have to choose. Usually it's three, between three starters. Whether it's water type, it's earth type. Stop doing that, Phil. You're gonna get one of these. No, knuckle sandwich. But yeah, no. Typically you have to choose. Oh, there we go. There we go. Yeah, get your glasses on. So yeah, typically you have to choose a starter, and that starter will remain yours, not until the end of time, because you can definitely just transfer him to Professor Oak. Whatever he does to those Pokemon, I'll never know. But yeah, that's what those starters mean, and it can be a hot topic, hot button topic.
Apparently, because even the producers are split on the answer. According to an interview from Kotaku, Junichi Masuda and Shigeru Omori were asked point blank. Once again, this is coming from comicbook.com. Which Pokemon is the best starter? And it seems their answer is divided. Once again, I'm kind of reading this more because I literally don't know what any of this meant. So anyway, for Masuda, he gives his love to Bulbasaur.
Okay.
Is his hands down favorite because of the look and the sounds. So
Okay.
Bulbasaur. Continuing, Masuda said he clearly remembers creating Bulbasaur's cry and falling for the Warble. And he talks about how he created the cry. Omori, he said he sides with the water type Pokemon, so he decided with Squirtle.
Yep. I mean, those are
And he likes the water
Pokemon,
type.
you know, right? You're familiar with those names? Oh boy.
Is it Pikachu?
No. Okay.
Have either of those ever appeared in a Smash game?
Yes, actually, they
Yeah.
have.
Bulbasaur?
I believe
I've heard
so.
of Bulbasaur. I've heard of Bulbasaur.
He might have been in as like Venusaur. I'm not entirely sure.
Oh, you lost me there.
Oh,
I
boy.
know. Okay, Pikachu, Charizard,
Yep. Starters. Again,
Jigglypuff.
Charmander is a starter Pokemon. Is a fire type.
Jigglypuff, Pichu,
Yep. Pikachu.
and that's about it. Wait, Greninja, is that one?
Greninja's one. Yep.
Okay, all right, there you go.
You're doing okay. You did all right. You named quite a
Yeah.
few, and they all had to be in Smash for you to even.
Every
Understand.
single one of those are ones that have beaten me in Smash or something.
Okay. All right. Gotcha.
Specifically Jigglypuff.
I prefer Kirby in Smash, but
The honorary Pokemon.
yes, the honorary Pokemon.
Yeah.
No, but for starters, I was always a Charizard or Charmander. If you wanted to know. If you didn't want to know, then just retract that last statement.
Done.
Corey, who is your starter, or have you ever played a Pokemon?
They're still out in the wild. I've yet to catch them all.
Yes!
Oh man, that's
Pokemon doesn't come down here in the South. I'll tell you that much.
pick up Pokemon Go.
Well, if you look at the amount of people playing Pokemon Go down here, that's definitely the case.
Are there not a lot of people playing Pokemon Go? Oh, okay.
We don't even know what Pokemon Go is.
Well, what I was just gonna say is pick up Pokemon Go. You'll learn your Pokemons quick. There are a lot of them. All right, they're like over 800 at this point.
Nah, I'm gonna go like try to catch one in a bush and get snake bit or something.
Oh, that's right. You guys got to deal with those venomous things, huh?
Absolutely.
The only venomous snake we have up here in, at least where I am, is a timber rattlesnake, and even then you have to go like to Western Massachusetts, about a couple hours out. So that's good.
quick
Side note.
Derail real quick. I was about 2 years ago. I was in my backyard. I live by a creek, and I was like, "Oh, I think that's a coral snake,
Oh,
or is it a milk snake?" So I got a little closer. I was like, "Oh!" By the time I was like, "Oh, that's definitely a coral snake," in my peripheral, I see another one slithering right in front of my feet.
oh no. Oh man.
Yeah,
That's no good.
Good job.
yeah.
Yeah,
I panicked.
you guys it's almost like Australia. You guys got to deal with like dangerous animals. I don't have to deal with any of that stuff. It's awesome.
Crawl out through the fallout, baby. All right. Over at My Nintendo News, we've got. I'm gonna give this one to the funniest article that Gio has ever shared in the history of the podcast, and that is that rapper Soulja Boy has been given a cease and desist from Nintendo for selling unapproved consoles that highly resemble, what was that, the Game Boy Advance or something?
Yeah,
what is that, the Game
this
Boy
wasn't
Color?
this wasn't his only. He had a few different
Yeah.
prototypes or whatever. One looked like an Xbox One. One looked like the Game Boy, and then I forget what the other one looked like. But the controller for the Xbox One was basically a PlayStation 4 like generic controller, and he was so adamant about selling this thing. It was the most funniest thing. He would just come out with the thing saying, Nintendo ain't gonna touch me. They ain't gonna do anything. And people are like, Nintendo's gonna go right after you. And he's like, don't worry. And then
This is by far, for me, the most bizarre gaming story of 2018. It's just like, I just would like 2020 or so, just someone to sit down, do an interview, and just see what were you doing here?
What were you thinking? Honestly, I mean, you can't just rip things off and not pay for it. Like, what are the thoughts behind this? Who was like helping him with this?
Tell that to a former Nintendo editor at IGN.
Oh, Philip.
Oh yeah. Too soon.
also one of the most bizarre gaming stories that I've ever seen.
I forgot about that one. That's almost a poll right there.
Right.
Yeah.
There we go.
Who did it better?
Oh
Or
man,
worse?
I don't have a pen. Oh, there we go. I don't want to forget that because I'm definitely doing that.
Well, this is recorded, so.
Yeah, but I'm stupid. I would never.
All right. We got a bunch of firsts here on the podcast tonight. Aren't you guys all glad that you're here for the ride?
Oh, yeah.
Over at Polygon, we've got what I would consider the most riveting read that Gio has ever posted. I could not stop reading this article about how Fallout has lost its soul, its actual soul. And I'm not even going to like read any excerpts. I'm just going to tell you all. If you are slightly dissatisfied or disgruntled at just the existence of Fallout 76, not unlike one of our prestigious co-hosts here,
Gaming journalist.
just by the very existence, it just like you get this like itch a little bit. Go read this Polygon article. This is just a fascinating read of the history of Fallout and how the series has just declined even from the beginning of Bethesda's takeover. It's just a great overlook of the series and talks about how the nuclear warhead mechanic in Fallout 76, which, to be clear, I was very skeptical of in the very beginning, even during the cool trailer and when Todd Howard was up there being awesome Todd Howard at E3. In my head, I was still thinking people are going to be blowing these nukes day 2.
Yeah.
And they're going to just be ruining the world for everybody else playing. And that's kind of what this article talks about, is how it's almost that nuke mechanic has almost sort of ruined the experience for a lot of people. And has sort of turned the philosophy of the series on its head. Gio, you put this in the lineup. I mean, was there anything special you wanted to mention about it?
Not specifically the article, just the fact that I agree with the entirety of it. Just the aspect of what Fallout. We'll just start when Bethesda took over the Fallout series with 3. With that game, it defined what they were then and there. And again, I'm not going back to like Elder Scrolls or anything like that. Just specifically specifically Fallout. So it kind of defined itself there, and then from there, it kind of passed over to Obsidian. Still kept the same environment, same storytelling. It never lost any direction there. Then you go to Fallout 4. Fallout 4, it almost got too big for itself. I don't know if that makes any sense. Where they tried experimenting. I'll give them that's okay. It just, I don't know, the world and the storytelling fell really, really flat in Fallout 4. They tried a lot of the what the modders were doing. They tried incorporating that with the building and the camps. I forget what they're called right now.
Settlements. Another settlement.
Yeah, and then you have that meme there. But then you go to Fallout 76, which is, it's very, very different. Number one, it's not a single player game, and you can't play that as a single player game either. But it changes the mentality of what a lone survivor is and what it's always meant. You're no longer a lone survivor. I mean, you were never a lone survivor, but you were. I'm getting lost in my thought here. It's just not. They totally lost their direction, and it's sad to see like Bethesda and their reputation just take this big hit in this. I mean, because you didn't really see it when they did it with Elder Scrolls. With Elder Scrolls Online, I don't know if they were trying to take that representation of what Elder Scrolls was with Fallout and make it an online thing and it be successful, because I consider Elder Scrolls Online to be successful. I don't know. I mean, what are some of your thoughts? I mean, I can't be the only one who plays Fallout, right?
No, go ahead, Corey. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I didn't play 76. Like I kind of I was hesitant from E3. I was like, you know what? I don't know how this online aspect's going to work out. I'm going to hold off on this one, and just see how it works out. And I know that sometimes when you incorporate massive online, even though it's not just online in general, it can take people a while to figure it out, like Bungie, and then they can mess it up with D2 not learning from their mistakes and then try to figure it all and piece it together. Some of these take years to fix, and so I did not expect when it was first going to be released it to be a polished game or something that would be so well received. So that's why I was just like, you know what, I'll wait, see what it went, and then the aspects of just how they handled pretty much everything.
There is zero narrative in Fallout 76. How do you even have a Bethesda game, never mind a Fallout game, with no story? There's no NPCs. There's no one to push. There's nothing really to push you to play.
And that's crazy. That's what really kind of makes me feel. Where were they really trying to go with this? Because I mean, the fact that they don't have any NPCs is just like, what are you doing here? Well, how are you trying to create a world? And I saw somewhere on, I think it was on Twitter or somewhere, but it may have been on Reddit, but there's a player that's trying to create in game by him being like a super boss, and then people have to fight him.
Okay.
Like, and that's creating the end game. Like they're having to create themselves because there's nothing else to do.
That's so unacceptable, though.
Yeah. I mean, I agree.
They actually referenced that guy in this article, and then they used that scenario to talk about how the nukes is ruining the game, because what people wound up doing, instead of going through the stuff that he had set up himself, painstakingly set up himself. They just nuked him.
Yeah.
You know, that's how they solved it. They just nuked him. They got tired of it and just nuked him.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
mean,
broken
and
system.
even the storytelling is so minimal. It's all pieces of it's all reading material. It's all you actually have to read the story. There's no voiceover. There's no narration. It's just that's not a Bethesda game. That's not a Fallout game. That's not what you want from them at all.
Are there microtransactions in it?
Not yet.
No, they were actually talking about it, and they were announcing that they were going to implement it. And then, like I mean, there was just so many backlash after I mean, it seemed like especially in November and early December, it seemed like you couldn't go 3 or 4 days without something else happening. You know?
Okay, because what we haven't covered at all is all of the other stuff, bugs, account stuff, refund stuff, like money stuff,
people's personal information getting lost, the bag gate,
like and players being awful and them not banning people they should be banning, things like that. It's been rough. It's been rough.
And you think they know the online environment with Elder Scrolls Online, so why this is not a surprise.
Do they though? Do they? Because ZeniMax is the one that controls the MMO, and I think that they do a pretty darn good job.
Well, they had a rough start too.
Yeah. You're totally right that they did. I feel like they found their footing though.
Yeah, definitely.
Because to me, looking back at ESO, I felt like they had all their problem was they were trying to strike the balance between how MMO do we go or how Skyrim do we go. And I feel like they eventually struck that balance.
Yeah.
That was really kind of where the problem was, and like figuring out how do we do this online thing. But I think that this is a major identity thing for Fallout 76, because to me this is not like a how survival do we go or how Fallout do we go. To me, this doesn't even seem like a survival game in like the way that a Rust is a survival game.
No,
or the way that like Ark is a survival game or something, or like Subnautica or something like that. This is what it feels like to me. And the reason that I asked about microtransactions, this makes me feel about as dirty as Metal Gear Survive did.
Yep.
This is what it honestly feels like. Like they set up a small sandbox in as quick a time as possible, just as a vehicle to get money. And that's why I was wondering if there was microtransactions for skins and things like that, because I feel like that's all this was. Let's set up a small arena. It's very, I don't know what programming, I don't know how much program, but to me, this seems like, okay, we'll use assets from games that we've already created. We'll use, this environment that we've already created. Here you go. We slap a half-baked premise on the top, and then everybody else creates their own story. To me, that sounds
lazy.
Dare I say lazy?
No, it's definitely lazy, and it doesn't even look as good as Fallout 4 does. It actually looks like a downgrade version of what Fallout 4 is.
And I bet because it's online,
Yeah. It's so lazy, and you wouldn't expect that from them, and it's happening, and they're taking a big hit with this for sure. What's next for them is it Starfield?
Yeah,
they better hit it out of the park with that one.
And I heard something, a point of view earlier today that kind of shook me a little bit, because I had not thought about this. But with the announcement by Obsidian for the Outer Worlds, does that kind of all of a sudden pull the rug out from underneath Bethesda a little bit with their sci-fi space drama Starfield? If the Outer Worlds is really, really good,
oh boy,
yes,
and there are people out there who say that New Vegas is better than Fallout 3. Obsidian's kind of done this before, whether you believe that or not. But if the Outer Worlds is really good, does that sort of take away our need for Starfield?
No, I think if anything, it's going to help. It has to push them.
You think so?
It has to, because
Yeah.
otherwise they're gonna.
Oh, okay, because I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
A little bit of competition making them
need it.
actually.
I think that's what they need. They need competition. The single player story driven RPG. They need competition because otherwise we get Fallout 76.
Yeah. Because but here's the thing. I know it's not direct competition. I feel like we're getting direct competition. I think I think the next couple years are going to be really important because not only do we have the Outer Worlds, we also have Cyberpunk, which is now first person open world RPG shooter. So I just feel like Bethesda has not done anything to stay in the race in the past couple of generations. They're still using the same engine that they've been using for 85 years.
Yeah.
That needs to be updated.
Isn't that the engine that they're using for Star? Like I
hope not.
That bothers me and that worries me. and it's still buggy as all get out. Like how can you be in 10 decades and still not be able to program everything?
Right.
Anyway, that went a lot longer than I thought I was going to, but that was a good discussion.
It felt good to get off the chest.
Well, I feel like we all three kind of needed that sort of like cathartic release.
Yes. I got to take off my Pokemon hat. Sorry.
Yeah. That segment's up. All right. Staying at Polygon, we've got.
I'm putting on my championship New England Patriots hat. Sorry.
All right. So next up, we've got the debut of board games for the SwitchRPG podcast.
RPGs, man. We're all about RPGs.
All right. This sounds pretty.
The reason why I put it on there is because I couldn't believe how much money this was taken in. It's unbelievable for a board game.
So the biggest Kickstarter of the year is Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon, which has taken in $6.2 million.
That's insane.
$6.2 million. And I mean, it sounds like a great game. It really does. But that's a lot of money. And you're right. Now, here's the more staggering thing to me at the very bottom of this article. It gives the difference of money on Kickstarter going toward board games versus video games. This really, really, really surprised me. Out of all the video games that have gone Kickstarter in the last 7-8 years, there's just been $17.25 million pledged toward video games.
And you know why that is, right? Because people get burned so many times when they pledge for video games. So a lot of people are reluctant to put into video games on Kickstarter. And I, for one, am like that. I am very reluctant to put any money into games on Kickstarter unless it's Divinity Original Sin or no. What I'm saying is they have a reputation. Like for Divinity Original Sin 2, I definitely put in for that. But I mean,
or if it was a developer from maybe an indie title, then he wanted to do his own thing and something like that. Established.
Something established, because so many people get burned on that.
Absolutely.
And it's just people are very reluctant to do that. So,
well, it's still incredible though that this board game got right below half of all video games of all time.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And we have a comment by Frozen Slacker saying, I think what does he say? Did he delete it? No, board game nerds are crazy. And I will respond by saying, yes, we are.
I'm looking at it right now. It looks really.
I mean, a lot of it goes there is a lot of playtesting involved in board games. But I mean, other than making the pieces really nice, I mean, I don't know what all that money is going into. Is it actually purchasing of the set? I have no idea.
Yeah. With Kickstarter, like there's different tiers. Let me see. I can look at the tiers real quick. So like the entry tier gets you, let's see, 1 digital code for the edition on PC. So I guess you'll be able to play it on PC as well.
It is going digital.
Okay.
And then 70 gets you like the actual physical, and then you get all that, and there's just different tiers. But yeah, when you pledge, you definitely get it. And then you go the higher tiers. Let's see what the highest one is. Highest one, group pledge, you get 6 boxes.
What do you do with 6 boxes?
I guess they're like the ultimate. It's group pledge. Okay. So I guess you get discount for doing that.
Right.
But sometimes they'll give you experiences too. Like you'll get stuff that you won't be able to get anywhere else. Like, so it's more of a collector aspect and stuff. And then there's apparently a bunch of expansions and stuff like that. So I don't know. Yeah, lots of tiers. You pledge your money and you get different aspects of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was astonished by how much money that was pulling in.
Insane.
Wow.
Board games.
Oh, don't nerd. You play board games too, you nerd.
I really do. Okie dokie. RPGfan.com. Let's talk about some From Software. More developer interviews. This one coming talking about okay, here we go. From Software, makers of Dark Souls and popular Japanese titles, they are working on several projects, including 2 as of yet unannounced games. There we go. That's what I wanted. The president, Hideteki Miyazaki, claimed in an interview that 2 additional projects other than Darasine and Sekiro Shadows Die Twice are in the works. I have not played From Software, so...
You haven't?
No,
you're missing out. Dark Souls 1, 2, and 3. I would love to have played Bloodborne. I just didn't own a PS4. They still have Code Vein that hasn't come out yet. Did that say Shadows?
Code Vein looks really good.
Yeah, it looks really cool. Is Shadows Die Twice out already? I don't think it is. So, the fact that they're already working on other titles is kind of nuts. They have all these games that aren't even yet to be released, and they've got things rolling. But it's probably going to be like the typical From Software, where it's kind of difficult and
yeah. They said it's going to be From Software-esque.
Yeah. So now we're
you know what that means.
So we're moving away from Dark Souls-esque to From Software-esque.
Yeah.
You just dodge everything. Just keep dodging.
Bob and weave.
Yeah.
All right. So also teasing from RPG Fan, the developer Experience has teased that they will be releasing 2 new dungeon RPGs in 2019. So you can see some artwork and character artwork and stuff. The game is described as classic fantasy RPG with a grand world waiting to be explored. So,
do we know what Experience has done before or no?
Experience will release the first title in 2019. However, the game will be released before. Yeah, no, I don't know.
No, they haven't done anything. Okay.
I personally don't know. The article mentioned them like we should have known.
Right.
They're like, hey, Experience is doing this, but
yeah, I thought they were doing some other stuff, but okay. My apologize. I thought it was going to lead into further discussion, but apparently it didn't.
It's just two new games that we don't really know what it is.
2 new games. Cool.
So be on the lookout for that. Things that we do know what is, and this was another funny article. You gave us quite the variety this week. I gotta hand it to you. We got some humor, got some rumor. That was good. I didn't have anywhere else to go with that. Ryan,
yeah, you need one more. You need one more.
I know.
I was about to be really impressed. Just your pronunciation of Japanese names.
So sticking with RPG Fan, it's Gio's new favorite site. By the way, welcome to the show, RPG Fan. This is first time on.
Friends of the show. Now.
No. Recognizable developer, indie developer Square Enix, with indie title Saga,
Never
the
heard of
Saga
it.
series, which was what Octopath was supposed to be. It was robbed. It was supposed to be Saga. For those who don't know, I predicted back in the day that I went out on a limb and in public said that was the new Romancing Saga game, and I was wrong. I said there would be no way that they would stick with Octopath as the title of that game, but there we go.
They did. They just
How
dropped.
history grins and
They just
cruel.
dropped the Project
Oh,
Octopath
gosh.
Traveler.
All right. So the next Saga game will feature, shocker, multiple protagonists.
Sounds reminiscent, doesn't it?
Think about that. Multiple protagonists. So we know it's sort of been known that they're doing a Saga game called Scarlet Grace. But what was actually funny about this article is that it details how this was announced, and this was announced on Twitter when one of the developers responded to a tweet begging that they not have multiple protagonists in the game. And his response
was it Geo?
No.
Yeah. He's like, due to the fact that Octopath Traveler sucked, can we please only have one protagonist?
You will
Like
get
it-
many. No, it wasn't me.
So he says the next one will have multiple protagonists. But this is a very strange request by a fan. I don't know if this is a new fan to the series. Maybe he just saw that this was like Square Enix's next game or something.
Yeah.
Because spoiler alert, Saga kind of pioneered the idea of the multiple protagonists, multiple like
Jobs
branching.
And all that, yeah.
Well, yeah, like everybody has their own story.
Yeah.
Like Octopath Traveler didn't do that first. That was sort of a Saga thing,
I don't
at least for
believe you.
Square Enix.
I don't believe you.
So I don't. Yeah. 2017. That's the first time that's ever been been
Doably, yes.
experimented on. So anyway, yeah. So that's that. We're gonna have multiple protagonists in the new Saga Scarlet Grace.
I mean, I honestly have never played a Saga game, but I do know that they have multiple protagonists. I just hope it's not in the same vein as Octopath. I mean, please, no. Don't do it. Meaning, give me a cohesive story. That's all I ask.
I've done a little bit of playing some of the older ones, and in my opinion, especially the Romancing Sagas, the older ones did a little bit better job of, even though sort of each character had their own path, and like you could start with any of the 8.
Yep.
Because Romancing Saga specifically, I believe 1 and 2 had 8. Even though you had that, there was still a connecting thread between them all, and you got a little bit better sort of interactions between them. They actually talked to each other.
Oh.
And don't bring up those camp meetings.
Oh, those are so
Don't bring that up
obnoxious.
again. No more party chat. No, like actually in cutscenes and stuff, like they would interact. So I think Romancing Saga wore it a little bit better, even though Octopath Traveler did a lot of other things better. But I don't know. Here we go. Multiple protagonists in the new Saga game. Corey, you played Saga at all?
Negative.
Negative.
Yeah.
No
Disappointing.
Saga, no Pokemon,
What do you-
only
Madden. That's all he ever plays.
Madden. That's it.
Jeez.
Got y'all.
Greatest RPG of all time. Although I will say, Corey, I was a little bit upset earlier whenever you called Madden EA's premier RPG.
Yeah, that
franchise.
strikes him right in the Dragon Age heart.
Yeah. Well,
You had me excited about a Dragon Age TV show, and then you pull
it comes out
Madden.
every year. I don't have to play this game of playing with my heartstrings and when the next title is going to come out.
All right, I decided to throw in some rumors into the pot this week. Yeah, we're still going on news, by the way. But I mean, it's been great. This has been like probably the best news week ever.
Ever.
Probably.
Ever?
Comicbook.com coming back in the show talking about. And I'm kind of coming into this one nonchalantly. Let me stop for a second. Give you a little bit of time to get ready for this. Okay, this would be gigantic if this happened, because this is one of those RPGs that I've been saying, bring it over. It's open world. It's huge. It would be great. I'd play it on the go. Witcher 3. According to rumors, there has been, now this is one of the biggest, I was thrown off on Geo earlier about the Frostbite thing, but this is one of the biggest rumors of all time because it's completely unsubstantiated.
Right.
There's nothing to confirm this, only a tweet with no image or anything like that, just saying that there is a French wholesaler that currently has a listing for The Witcher 3 on Nintendo Switch. Now, the article does go on to say stuff like this happens all the time, misprint, mistype, people get things lost in translation. It could be anything. But for the sake of excitement
And
hype and discussion, do you guys think that there is room for the Switch, for the room on the Switch for Witcher 3? Would you like it on the Switch?
Corey probably hasn't even played it.
No, sorry. It lagged out for me for a second. No, that would be awesome.
Are you excited? Are you excited about Witcher 3 on Switch?
Absolutely. That would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and a lot of people worry about that game saying, you know, it could potentially just not run. I mean, run on the Switch. I think it could. Like I said, we have beautiful games that run really well on the Switch.
I think it would be able to be handled on the Switch.
I mean,
thing is, I just don't know if CG Projekt Red, with, like you said, Cyberpunk coming around, if they have the resources to, if they have to tune it to the Switch for whatever reason. I don't know if they have the resources to do that while they're pumping Cyberpunk.
Right.
Now, hang on. I just closed it. Let me go back to it. This article does bring up the fact that
that French retailer or wholesaler, they've had many games up where, you know, there's no possible way that this is coming to the Switch. I don't know what they're doing over there in France, but I mean, they're just wrong most of the time.
Yeah. Okay. So this article does bring up the fact, Corey, to your point, if CD Projekt Red would have the ability to do this right now, they bring up the point that companies like Panic Button have been great at coming to developers and being like, "Hey, let us pour this over for you." So it's possible that happened. You know, I don't know how likely this is. I think it would be great. On the topic of will it run? Yeah, it is just a gorgeous game, but it is also a little bit older.
Yeah.
And also we have to think about, we're seeing it look gorgeous on ultra settings on PC and are really, really nice PS4s, but there are scalable settings on PC. You can make it look not that good,
right.
and it runs well, you know? So like they can scale these things. You can make it work. So I mean, I think
and
a
Panic
little bit older.
They've ported many good games over that run just fine, you know. And I would take a just fine running but looking decent Witcher 3 any day of the week.
Absolutely.
Any day.
I think it would that'd be a home run.
Mm-hmm. Talk about printing money. That's one of
them.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and getting ready to land the here. Got a little bit of more rumors. These are a little bit more substantiated though. From Forbes.com. From Forbes. They're more. Let's go back to job postings, because that's the best place to find spoilers. Job postings. This one for a little game, a little franchise called Halo.
Never heard of it.
Never heard of it, says the Xbox guy. So it says that there's now possible evidence, possible proof that Halo Infinite might emphasize or heavily include Geo's favorite term, RPG elements.
Oh boy.
Unlike previous games, obviously, if you know anything about Halo, it's never been RPG-ish at all.
Nope.
But then former Halo developer Bungie went off to make its own RPG shooter. So maybe Halo's like, why don't we
could do that
better?
Yeah, we could do that.
So the job posting listed a couple of days ago on Microsoft's website seeks a senior system designer for the, quote, next epic systems-driven Halo campaign, and one of the requirements for the position is familiarity with RPG and shooter game mechanics.
I don't think this is too far-fetched because you have, like you said, Bungie doing Destiny, but also you have Anthem coming out. And so I think they're taking a look and they're like, wow,
There's a place
Bungie's
for
coming
it.
out. Yeah, there definitely is a place for it. And I don't think, and especially you have the name like Halo. I mean, that's another printing money. I mean, and it sounds like they're trying to do it well. They're not trying to do like a Fallout 76 and just throw something out there to get the money, but they're like, hey, we have the branding. People will buy this.
Yeah.
And part of this article above the actual job listing reminds readers that we're already thinking that this was going to be an open world game because of the description of the engine that they're using, which is supposed to let's see, the quote here is ideal for creating living, breathing world ripe for exploration and endless gameplay possibilities. So we were already thinking that Halo Infinite had some sort of open world quality, which does sort of lend itself to this idea of RPG. Go along with what you guys are saying. The Division also has RPG-ness in it.
Yeah.
I feel like we're sort of on the cusp of living in the age of the RPG shooter. Because we also got now it's not multiplayer, but we do once again have Cyberpunk coming out, so we'll see just how much of an RPG that is with the shooting on it and how RPG-ish these things are. But I think that you guys are right that I feel like Bungie, I don't know, Gio, correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean Halo hasn't king in recent years, right?
No, they've been. Yeah, with Halo 5, it didn't really do so great. Halo 4, I think, was probably the last one to do really well. But Halo 5, was that Rise of the Guardians? I don't remember. I'm not a huge Halo guy. I do have a Master Chief helmet there. That's because it looks cool on my shelf rather than me actually playing the game. But yeah, ODST was a great one. Halo 3 was a good one. Halo 4 was okay. Halo 5 not so good. And
it's gone away for a while.
It's gone away for quite a while. They did have what's the strategy game? Halo strategy game.
Yeah, Reach, was that?
Is it Reach? Yeah, and there's Reach 2 as well. They do have that, but that's totally. I mean, that's just basically using the Halo environment, Halo world. And making a strategy game out of it, but yeah, they've been missing for a while.
Yeah, and Halo 5, that was the first go for the team that it was handed to, right?
Yeah, yep.
That's the first one Bungie did not do,
right?
And it did not do great. So I feel like I had the feeling like this team has got to do something to sort of bring Halo back.
Yeah,
and I feel like they think that they can't really do it with just staying a shooter. So it's always had decent campaigns, right? Good stories.
Okay, stories.
Which
yeah
lends itself to RPG.
Yeah,
so,
most of them are really known for their multiplayer, aspect of it. So again, which I'm just so bad at. I'm really first-person shooters and me. Good Lord, I am bad. Really bad.
You think we could get crossplay with Nintendo Switch?
With what? With Halo?
Oh,
yeah. They love each other now. They love each other.
I don't know about that much.
Not that much. Yeah,
that
like
Master Chief and Smash Bros.
Hey, you have Persona there. I mean, there's a little bit of a relationship with Nintendo and Atlas, but who knows? I have heard a lot of rumors that Xbox may potentially have a fighter in Smash Brothers.
Oh,
so
of course, yeah.
It could be Crash.
In Smash Bros.
Yeah, in Smash Bros.
Okay, cool.
It could be Crash. It could be Master Chief. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Oh, yeah.
All right, and then last piece of news comes once again in the form of a slight rumor, but this to me is like almost non-rumor because as Gio told me before we actually started the show, this happens every January. But as a reminder for those of you who don't know, it's possible that we'll have a Nintendo Switch Direct or Nintendo Direct this January because it happens pretty much every January. So,
Yeah.
and those rumors have started matriculating across the internet waves.
Yeah, I mean, I hope it's not just a direct, but almost like a roadmap for 2019. Like kind of just what's going to happen in 2019.
Fire Emblem
There are a ton of
releases
games.
of February.
Yeah,
19.
there are a ton of games that we still have yet to see, still have release dates for. Fire Emblem being one of them. I want more information on Pokemon, Pikmin, Metroid. There's a lot out there that we just don't have anything for.
It's crazy because like sometimes I think, God, we know so much, but then like I think again, I'm like, there's so much mystery. There's so much mystery.
Town,
So much we need.
Game Freak's other game. Town is supposed to be 2019.
Yoshi?
Yep.
Where's Yoshi?
Where is Yoshi? Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire.
Did you say Animal Crossing? Animal Crossing?
I never mentioned that, but you said it. Animal Crossing. There was another one I can't think of. There's a lot of Pikmin.
Yeah.
Did I say Pikmin? Pikmin?
Yeah.
4?
Pikmin. Yeah.
5?
You said Pikmin. Okay. Wait, Pikmin. But yeah, Fire Emblem. There we go. Fire Emblem. That's the one.
That is the one.
Fire Emblem February. We're starting that off.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, Fire Emblem February.
I don't know. I have a feeling it's going to be
Valentine's Day.
Hey.
It's Thursday this year.
Yeah, there's a lot out there that they need, and a lot that's yet to be announced probably. So give it to me. What are you guys waiting for? Let's go.
Yep, there we go. All right. Well, that wraps up the news, and that was a record breaker. Let's talk about what we've been playing, because it's been 2 weeks since we had an episode, and Gio wasn't here on the last episode. Gio, why don't you grace us with what you've been playing for the last basically month?
Probably the same games. I've been playing a lot of Diablo. I'm doing that for the YouTubes and getting grilled for it recently. I'm doing some Diablo. Xena Valkyrie Plus, which I'm terrible at as well. Mana Spark, those two, Xena Valkyrie and Mana Spark, those are two roguelikes I'm equally terrible at.
I'm seeing a theme here.
Oh man, I've just been really awful at games lately. What else? I've been doing Mutant Year Zero. Absolutely love that game. I was streaming that for a while. I feel like people within the channel, or not within the site so much, but just within this YouTube channel, don't really care for it. But it is a fantastic game. I love the writing in the game. And that's pretty much it. Red Dead is just sitting there collecting dust, unfortunately. And then I'm trying to just kind of lay low for a little bit until Tales of comes out. And then when Tales of Vesperia comes out, it's all on. It's all on.
Corey, what you got over there?
So, I kind of alluded to it. My goal, so I'm turning the corner into Golf Story. I'm going to try to wrap that up. And then also I picked up Phantasy Star.
Oh, okay.
The remake. And so I want to, my goal is to try and knock it out. It's not a super long game. So I'm thinking, hopefully, maybe I can get it knocked out before Tales comes out.
Week and a half? Is that about that?
Yeah. So, and then I need to finish Red Dead 2.
Oh, okay.
Because the thing is, I spent so much time just wandering and doing all that stuff. I just need to bang out the story, man. Just do the missions, get the story out. I'm like, dude, I've logged a lot of time in that game, but I'm like,
you're just looking at flowers and
I'm picking. Oh, that looks interesting.
Yeah,
I don't like the way that guy talked to me. I'm going to put a bullet in his head.
That's the problem with that game. Is just there's so much nonsense, and there's a story to it. But you're roaming around doing random things.
I'm about halfway through the story, so I do think I'm just gonna okay. Normally I'll do a story mission, then I'll go do random stuff for like an hour and a half. I'm gonna focus.
That's gonna take away from the experience, though, right? It has to.
No, it just means that I just don't have as much ADD in the game, and it's always gonna be there. Yeah, like I'll randomly. You know what I want to do? I want to go ride a horse and lasso someone.
Yeah, but you can do that right in your backyard, I bet.
Like,
Right?
that's true. That's true. But my neighbors judge me because I'm not as good as them. So it's
Oh,
kind of
okay.
like you,
Well,
it's
you
kind of
gotta.
like you playing Diablo.
All right.
Do you play this almost like an autobiography?
No, yes, yeah. Depending on how the day goes is how I play, and like I just kind of manifest my day into Red Dead.
He takes his horse to work and everything. Gets
Yeah,
is it Shaps? Am I saying it right? Shaps?
chaps.
Chaps? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Chaps.
Yeah.
And just ride,
All right.
ride
Well,
into the sunset.
on the theme of just focusing in and just getting the game done.
That's my timeout. That's my New Year's resolution is roll credits.
Yes.
New Year's resolution.
Finish your game.
So that is the mindset I had to get myself in my announcement right now.
Oh.
Because 2 weeks ago I came on the show and Corey gave me a hard time for this. But Gio, I guess you heard that I restarted Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I didn't just pick up where I was in Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I created a new profile for the Switch because you can't have more than one save file on one profile. Didn't know if you knew that.
Whoa, no, I didn't.
Created a new profile, started brand new, and I said, you know what? I cannot fall into the trap of all 8,000 side quests. Because I logged over 80 hours into that game in my first playthrough and got to chapter 6 because I was doing all the other stuff.
Yep.
So I just put myself in storyline gear and I completed Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
You finished it?
I have finished it.
Did you have to grind anything?
Yes.
Like there's probably some spots
a little
where
bit,
you need to
a couple of spikes, but nah, I just
nice.
boom, and it still took me 40-ish to beat, but there you got it. There you go.
Good for you, man.
Boom. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, phenomenal. If you haven't finished it, if you've played the first one, please finish this because they so tactfully connected to the first one in a way that I didn't see coming. And let me just tell you that final chapter, I had to like check my game to make sure I was still playing like Xenoblade Chronicles 2 because it just was so mind blowing.
Yeah, it's really good.
It was a treat. So that was sort of one of my big accomplishments over the break. And my other big accomplishment was I basically told everyone, go to GameStop for my Christmas. All right. They've got some sales going on and I want you to get me cheap because I knew that they were there for cheap, but 3DS and DS game because there's some that I need to catch up on. And so I have had this guy me for the past couple weeks ever since Christmas. Past week ever since Christmas.
You have a grip on it?
Okay, that's the other part. All right. So
hardcore.
So I have started my first Fire Emblem ever. And I decided on it's the remake of the very first Fire Emblem Shadow Dragon. It's really good. It's really basic, but it's sort of scratching that itch of the tactical combat. I also got Tales of the Abyss. Tales of the Abyss. That's really good. That is so good. And I got other stuff that I haven't even gotten into. Once again, they were gifts. I got Dragon Quest 9. Excited about that.
Okay.
Got Final Fantasy 3. Excited about that. The real Final Fantasy 3, Geo, not Final Fantasy 6.
Not Final Fantasy 3 on the Super Nintendo.
Not Final Fantasy 6.
I'm
Let's see.
so
I got Shin
confused.
Megami Tensei 4. I started that game and I died like 80 times in the first dungeon. I was like, I will come back to this when I understand what's going on. Let's see. What else did I got a bunch of stuff, but there's all stuff for 3DS. So I started playing it a lot. A lot. And I realized, because I had never really logged a lot of time on my 3DS, my hands are way too big for it, and I have the XL, so I mean it's the bigger one.
Everyone's hands are way too big for that.
But I was like this, and by the end of like my PlayStation stuck together, and I was like all cramping up. So I scoured the internet and found on Amazon it was like $20, but yeah, it's a grip for it. It looks like a controller, it feels like a controller, and it has absolutely changed the way that I'm able to play this. I mean, it is actually like enjoyable now.
Awesome.
So for anybody struggling with 3DS and you want to supplement some of your Switch time, go get a grip. Like get a grip.
You
I was just about to...
You get a grip.
So anyway, going through, I will say technically my first Tales game. I dabbled in Tales of Fantasia and Tales of Destiny, but like I'm sort of significantly farther in Abyss than I was in either of those until Tales of Vesperia.
Nice. I
I
can't wait.
just waiting. So anyway, there you go.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah,
You've been
big
playing
deal.
a lot too. It's a lot of games.
This is what happens when between the semesters working in education, it's a little bit lighter. So
Yeah,
there you go.
nice.
I mean, I definitely wasn't playing at work.
Definitely.
God's honor.
Yes.
God's honor.
Do they watch this or listen to this? Don't know.
Hope not.
Let's move on.
All right, let's real quick cover the sales and releases, and then we're probably just going to need to wrap this bad boy up. I mean, we've made up for missing last week, that's for sure. So sales and releases, I'm going to do something a little extra because I think January is just a phenomenal month for RPGs as a whole. So first off, I'm going to read off some of the RPGs that's coming across all platforms. I got a quick list here. In order of release, we got Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet Complete Edition coming out January 9th. That is coming to PC, Xbox One, PS4. Tales of Vesperia coming to all platforms on the 11th. Smoke and Sacrifice coming to Xbox One and PS4 on the 15th. Y2K, a modern RPG, is coming to PC, PS4, Switch on the 17th. Also on the 17th, Hell Warders is coming exclusively to PC. And then Dragon Marked for Death is coming exclusively to Switch on the 19th. And then finally, Kingdom Hearts 3 is coming to Xbox One and PS4 on January 29th. That is a varied, but also just, I think, a fantastic month
a lot of stuff
for RPGs. What a way to start the year.
Coming in hot.
Okay, and then especially on Switch, here are the releases for the week. We only have two. One of them released January the 1st. It was teased by Geo there. He's talking about he's playing it. Xenon Valkyrie Plus released January 1st for $9.99. And then finally, Don't Sink releases January 3rd. If you're listening to this on Friday, then it released 2 days ago at $9.99. All right, sales. Looking through, since we missed last week, it looks like we got a bunch of them. It's too many to read, though. It's way too many to read. I read a couple weeks ago. It was way too long. Guys, go check out Meatball Sub's rundown of the Switch RPG releases and sales for this week. That's located on SwitchRPG.com. So just go look up the sales. There's a lot of games there.
I'll point out too, West of Loathing 30% off, $7.70. If you haven't played it, that's a really good pickup, for sure. And then, I mean,
well, you got the Banner Saga series as well.
That was the other one I was gonna say. And then Into the Breach 2, it's on sale, $10.04, 33% off. So you got some decent deals this week for sure.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the entire Banner Saga series is off. Is off for a pretty good bit. A game highly touted by Geo was Battle Chasers. That's 40% off. That's a pretty significant drop for that one.
I'm still not seeing Lost Sphere on here.
No, it's still full price for $79.99. And what was the first one? What was the first one? I Am Setsuna.
Oh yes,
is on sale right now for $99.99.
Those games have not dropped in price. They went to, like
19 years after release.
yeah, they went down like 10% for like Christmas, and then that was it.
Those two
Now they're
games,
back up.
those two games literally sound like used copies of classic games on eBay. Like 23 years after release, I think you can get like Final Fantasy VI original cartridge cheaper than you can get I Am Setsuna digitally.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so there you go.
Also to
Go look
note,
that up.
Meatball Sub has changed his avatar or his name. It is no longer Meatball Sub. He has finally
I'm sorry,
his,
yeah.
he has finally put his name. So if you're looking for Meatball Sub, you may not find anything. So it is now.
They're like,
it's his real name, as we've thought for a long time, is Bruce Wayne.
Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm Batman. No, it's Ben Thompson. So yeah, if you're looking for the article, he writes a few articles a day on there. Ben Thompson.
Go check it out. All right, and remember, if you would like to send us questions, you can do so by hitting up the email address podcast@switchrpg.com. Email us your questions, or hit us up on Twitter. We're all three on Twitter, and you can tweet at RPG Reruns now, and he'll tell us what your questions are, or just
Probably
shoot.
won't. Did he just do
at-
shooters at us?
Red Dead Redemption 2 from Texas.
Pew pew. Oh God.
Or you can just hit up at SwitchRPG on Twitter. And we are going to forego any side quests because we went on about 1,000 main quests.
Yes.
We did the reverse Corey and Red Dead Redemption. We
Yeah,
just
we're
went
trying to-
straight on main quests.
Trying to roll the creds.
That's it.
So we are going to roll the credits on this episode finally. That's going to wrap it up for episode 35 of the Switch RPG podcast. Once again, everybody, thank you so much. We appreciate it every single week. And remember that you can catch our episode live on Wednesday nights at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, U.S. Eastern Time.
U.S. Eastern.
Eastern Time, U.S. Eastern Time. And you can catch us on all of your favorite podcast apps on Friday at some point. Sometimes it's Friday at midnight or like Thursday at midnight. You never know. Anyway, if you are on one of those podcasting apps, feel free to head over to iTunes and leave us a rating and review. That helps us out a bunch with exposure and jazz like that. And remember, if you love what you hear from our velvet voices, then you can head over to patreon.com/switchrpg. Throw us $1 or $2. But if you can't, don't sweat it, because you just being around in the community and listening to us, watching us, commenting,
All that good
hanging
stuff.
out with us, all that good stuff is what we love. So until next time, I am going to be comfortably playing my new Nintendo 3DS XL.
I always was able to play comfortably because I had tiny hands.
You do have tiny hands. I've noticed that about you. Pew pew.
Pew pew.
Goodbye, everybody.
See ya.
Adios.